Today I will show you how to make this top tier transition. Yo, it's Povikas here, and let's begin. Alright guys, so here I have a bunch of clips of Osamu-san from his 3x music video. And at the start, I'll be transitioning from this clip to this clip. So how to make this crazy transition is you need to go to the second clip you're going to transition to, press Ctrl D on it, and now drag it a couple of frames back. So maybe drag it like 9 frames back, or honestly just do what you want, like drag it however frames you want. And I'm gonna right click, go to time, and I'll press freeze frame. And now what I like to do is I like to press T, and I like to make the opacity to 0, and I like to keyframe it. And I also like to press S, and I like to make the scale to 165, and I like to keyframe it. And now let's press U to see all of the keyframes we just made. And now let's go to where it transitions right here. Oh, I'm gonna actually cut this up a little bit, and this is the fun part. I'll make the scale to 100 and the opacity to 100 as well. Now if you test it out and you're like, okay, Povikas, what even is this? What did we just make? That looks ass. Well, don't worry, we're gonna fix all of it. So what I like to do here is I like to select all of the keyframes, and I like to press F9. And now I like to press on the opacity keyframes, and I like to go to the graph editor. Don't get scared of graphs, this is gonna be real easy. I like to drag this point really forward like there, and I like to drag this point like down like this. So it would pop up like this, which I think that looks really cool, but obviously as a transition that just doesn't work. So let's start adding some effects. So what we can do is press Ctrl to Y to make a new adjustment layer on which we will add the effects. And the start of the adjustment layer is going to be the start of our freeze frame that we just did. And on the adjustment layer, I'm going to add S flicker. Now, keep in mind that S flicker does require the Sapphire plugin, and that is very important to remember. And at the start, I like to make the amplitude to 0. And let's keyframe it. And also, let's add minimax. And I like to make the radius to 0 at the start as well. And now let's add S distort chroma, which also requires a Sapphire plugin. I mean, you really should have the Sapphire plugin. And let's make the amount, guess what, to 0 at the start. And let's also keyframe it, of course. And let's make the blur lens like 182 and keyframe it as well. And now we can quickly go back to our freeze frame that we had. And here we can actually add S shake to shake it up a little bit. And I'm gonna make the amplitude to 0.2, and I'll check on the motion blur. So it would pretty much just shake a little bit while it kind of goes in, fades in, I guess the right word is. So this is how it looks now, kind of like shakes just a little bit. All right, and now let's go to transition, and now let's go to the transition point. And here what we can do is press U, and we will be able to see our keyframes that we made. And here we can make the amplitude of transition to 0.64, which is gonna make the flicker really high. And let's make the minimax radius to 10. And now a fun part, I like to make the distort chroma to 0.46. One cool thing you could do is make the rotate warp dir a bit different to have a different style, but you don't need to do this if you just want to keep the normal one. And let's make the blur lens to 320. And now let's go like 9 frames forward right here for, let's say, and let's make the amplitude to 0, the minimax to 0, the distort chroma amount to 0, and the blur lens, let's make like something like 150. And now what we can do is we can select all of the keyframes we just made and press F9. And now let's press on the S flicker amplitude, and let's go to the graph editor. Now in the graph editor, don't worry, this is gonna be pretty easy. I'll just drag this point right here, I'll drag this point a little forward, and this point right there maybe, and this point I'll drag it out somewhere there. Let's get out of there, let's go to the minimax. Minimax actually has a really weird graph, as you can see. And here, let's make this point also like right there maybe, and this point a bit down, and this point a bit down. It looks kind of like a pyramid. Now let's go out of there, and let's go to S distort chroma, and as well, let's make this something like, and let's make this something like this. Yeah, everything looks like a pyramid here. And now as you can see, that looks pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie, that looks really nice. Now a cool thing you could also do is go back to the freeze frame you had, and here you can actually change the blending mode. So I'm gonna right click, go to blending mode, and I sometimes like to make this to hard light. Now you can change it out to whatever you want, but this will pretty much like kind of change the colors and actually make it kind of cooler in my opinion. So yeah, I like to change it to hard light, and so yeah, I like to change it to hard light, and it will look just a little bit different, not too different. And what we can also do is we can press Ctrl+Y on the transition adjustment layer, and I'm actually gonna call our transition layer to transition because I don't want to forget that, and I will call call this adjustment layer color pop. And I want to add a way bigger impact. And what I want to do is I want to give way more energy to this transition because it just kind of lacks it. So I'm going to go to animation presets, user presets. And for this crazy energy, I'll be using some presets from my Impact Presets V2 pack. So I'm going to drag and drop color pop. And color pop is easily one of my favorite effects from the whole video editing scene. I mean, just look at that. A really viral effect in the game right now. But let's look around here. Ooh, another transition. I want to show you what you can do with this. So we can actually press Ctrl D on the transition layer to duplicate it, and let's make it go on top. And we can actually press U to see our transition point. Now transition point is these keyframes. So we can drag it right here. And it's going to transition between this clip and this clip. Now you can also just do the thing I did there with this fade in with the freeze frame, but you can also just not do it, and this will look really cool. But let's just do it real. So we can grab the second clip here, press Ctrl D, right click, go to time, freeze frame. And now let's bring it right here, press Ctrl Shift D to cut the layer, delete it. And yeah, all I'm going to do is just press T, make the opacity at the start to 0, and at the end I'll make it to 100. Select the keyframes, press F9, go to the graph editor. I'm just showing you what we learn right now, and just do a graph something like this. So that's gonna look really cool. And then when it goes in, I'm going to press Ctrl Y, and for this one I'll make my favorite effect combination from my whole Impact Presets V2 pack, which is by adding flash on top of the adjustment layer. And also we can press Ctrl Y, and on this adjustment layer I love to add pop. Absolutely my favorite effect combination from the whole pack, and we will instantly have a transition like this, which just looks absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't even know, that has to be one of the craziest transitions you can actually make. One thing you can do is, if you don't like these dark edges popping out, you can go on top of every clip that you have, press Ctrl Y, and add transform, and make the scale go to 105. This will just not have those annoying black parts popping out. And let's go to the next transition, and I'm just going to press Ctrl D on that transition layer, and I'm going to bring it right here. And here I'm gonna press Ctrl Y, and I want to show you more of these crazy presets. So I'm going to add color distortion impact, which pops incredibly. And color distortion impact is going to look like this. It is a really amazing effect, as you can see. And now let's go to the last transition, and for this one, let's make it really crazy. So I'm going to press Ctrl D on the transition layer, as we've always done, bring it right here. And for this one, let's also press Ctrl Y, and I'm gonna add Smash 2. I had a bunch of fun naming these effects, I'm not gonna lie. And the transition looks like this, which is actually crazy. Okay guys, and this is the result. Actually insane. Wow, you just get this result instantly. Oh yeah, also guys, as a gift for supporting the channel and just watching these tutorials, I have to let you know that I have a $5 discount code for the Impact Presets V2 pack, which is code POVICAS. If you use code POVICAS, you will save $5 off on the beautiful Impact Presets V2 pack. But anyways guys, that's about it for the video. If you have any questions, then please let me know. But anyways, it was fun. Have a fun and productive day. See ya.